All right, hi again, everybody. So, welcome to the second ever Writing Your Legacy post. This one I'm crazy excited about. I know I say that I'm excited about everything to come in Dream Awake, but this one is especially exciting because this one is going to be talking about the inner compass. And if you haven't been keeping up with everything I've been doing, then I do an article once a month that I post in the Writing Your Legacy section on the website, Cocodreamsawake.com. Wherever you're seeing this, I'm going to go ahead and post all the links so you can get there, so don't worry. Definitely, like I always say, if you like to read, I'm definitely a way better writer than I am speaker, so please go ahead and read that if you're interested in what I'm talking about today. But some people don't like to read, so again, I'm always going to be posting like a video summary essentially of what I'm doing. And yeah, this one is the Writing Your Legacy post called The Inner Compass. And this is all about everybody's north. You know, we all have a different one. And the subtitle under this title on the article, if you go and look at it, is 4 Unlikely Principles to Take You to Your Very Own Acres of Diamonds. And that's from a famous book. If you don't know about it, I definitely recommend going in, looking that up. It is older, but it's still just as applicable today as it was back when it was written. But essentially, it's saying that all of us have our own acres of diamonds that we can reach. And this whole article, this whole video is essentially about how you can get there, what you can do in order to find your map, essentially. You can look at your compass and take you to where you're supposed to go. So getting into these 4 things, the first one is the definition of success. Again, if you've been following what I'm doing, Dream Awake is all about the human experiment, and I am the human experiment. It's my journey to success, if you will. And I can't really have a whole website, blog, YouTube channel movement about going and chasing your dreams and about the journey to success if I don't have a real definition of success. And this one that I found is probably one that you may never have heard of. It is super famous, but I don't think that many people equate success to this. A lot of people like to say, you know, that success is a certain amount of money in your bank account, or maybe a certain status at your job, or a certain job title. It could be a certain class of car that you drive in your driveway, or some people say that success is having a family, having a spouse, having kids, you know, or maybe their social status together as a family. These are all different things that I don't necessarily agree with. I'm not saying that you're wrong if you feel that way, but I definitely don't want to start a whole movement based on something material. Of course, we all need money. Of course, we all need happiness. A lot of us want a family, but I don't equate that specifically to success. Some people like to say that success is having a goal and then completing that goal. But then what happens afterwards? You know, are you still successful? As long as you completed your old goals, do you have any new ones? You know, are you only successful when you complete it? Are you not successful until you complete it? So these are all things that I've thought about. And like I said, there was one definition that stood out whenever I was looking for definitions for success. And this one is from Winston Churchill. And he says, success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. And I feel like that's a really special way to put it, because if you think about it, in order to do anything in life, you're gonna have to fail. And I've talked about this in many of my videos, especially I've emphasized a lot on how we humans learn how to walk. I mean, you don't walk on the first try. You fail a lot before you get there. You fall a lot before you get there. But the moment you learn how to walk, you're running. And again, in other things that I've done with Dream Awake, I've talked about, it's not that life gets easier. It's not that these things don't happen to, like, you know, throw a wrench in your plans. Life doesn't get easier. You just get stronger. Sorry. So that's what this definition I feel like is all about. And not only that, it's about the enthusiasm. You know, it's about no matter what hardships may show up, no matter what difficulties might happen, you can handle it because you're enthused, because you care about what you're doing. You know, whatever job you may choose to work, even if you don't like your job. Like a lot of y'all know, I've been in the service industry for a long time, and I just stopped. And you know, that wasn't easy. I mean, anybody who's ever been in the service industry can tell you it's work. It's not easy at all, and it's trying, but you learn how to do it over time. And some of us are really good at it because of repetition, because of practice. And that's the same with anything. And it can be the same with your dreams, and it can be the same with the things that you hope for and wish for, and the things that make you excited to live your life, you know? So there's also another great quote that I love from John Lennon, who talks about when he was a child and he was in grade school, his teacher had all the kids do an assignment where they had to answer a question, and the question was, what do you want to be when you grow up? And of course, most of the kids wrote things like, professions. I want to be an artist. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a veterinarian. I want to be a rock star, whatever it was. But John Lennon, on his paper, he wrote happy. He wanted to be happy. And the teacher came to him and told him that he didn't understand the assignment. And he said, you don't understand life. And again, one of my favorite quotes I've ever heard. And I feel like I quote it all the time, but it's really important. How many of us spend all of our time working for something that doesn't make us happy, just to pay the bills, just to get to tomorrow, or just because it's routine? Some people stay in situations, jobs, relationships, whatever it may be, just because it's familiar, just because that's what their life has been up until that point. And I don't want to do that, and that's not what I want to preach for Dream Awake. I definitely, like I've said a million times doing this, is I want to inspire people to follow their dreams. And if it's something that you dream of, then you're going to be enthusiastic about it because you care about it, and you're going to be happy about it because you care about it. And those are the two biggest things that I want to push with doing this. It's not necessarily about a career. It's not necessarily about money. It's definitely about fulfillment and doing what you're supposed to be doing what you came here to do, if you will. So that's my definition of success, and that's number one. One principle of success to get you to your own acres of diamonds is pursue something that you're always going to be enthusiastic about. Pursue something that makes you happy, something that you're passionate about. And it's not about the end goal. It's not about attainment. It's about enjoying the journey. And that's where real success comes from. Earl Nightingale has one of my favorite audios I've ever heard. And if you've ever heard of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, this is Earl Nightingale's, it's like a 2.5-minute audio that's basically summing up the ideas in that. And if you've never heard it, I definitely encourage you to go to YouTube and look that up. I probably have it memorized by now. I listen to it all the time, and I've been listening to it for, I don't know, at least 8 years. And I think every single time I hear it, it makes me excited about life, and it makes me, put a fire under my passions and my dreams. Like, it really gives you motivation and workable insight on how you can get to where you want to go. So that all being said, I'm going to go ahead, and I didn't write this in the article about Earl Nightingale, so whenever I post this video, I'm going to go back into the article and leave the link for that YouTube video so that y'all can go ahead and listen to it. I love the audio so much. I think Earl Nightingale's voice is like a sweet grandpa with like this deep, raspy, bellowy voice that makes you want to listen to him tell you stories at night. It makes me feel like a little kid. He's great. So number 2 is emotion equals science. And that's a really, really, really important concept. I think a lot of people like to separate those two, emotion and science. But emotion is science. We have chemicals that flow through our brain and through our bodies that make us feel emotions. And that's straight science, like down to the atom. That's science. And people like to separate those two for a reason. They think that things that they feel aren't there for a reason. And I argue that the things that we feel for a reason. Again, something that I repeat all the time is that we're just another animal. We're just like anything else that lives on this planet. Bees make honey. You don't have to tell them to. You don't have to convince them to. Caterpillars turn into butterflies, and you don't have to convince them to do it. It's not some caterpillars that turn into butterflies. It's all of them, right? Because that's what they're meant to do, And talk about the butterfly effect, if you've ever heard of it. Even the smallest things in our universe affect everything. It's a web, right? We all affect each other. And I feel like that's absolutely how people are. And I feel like we all have our purposes, our drives, our talents, our passions, our gifts, whatever you want to say, our dreams, in order to progress the human race forward. And not just the human race, but just the earth in general. And that might sound woo-woo and spiritual, but stick with me, there's a reason for that. There's this man who a lot of people refer to as the Zen millionaire, and his name is Ken Honda. And, you know, people come to him for money advice, how to attain abundance, right? How to achieve lots and lots and lots of money, income, right? And whenever he was going through that process, learning how to make a lot of money, he went to his mentor on money, one of the richest men in Japan, and his name was Wahei Takeda. And he told Ken, don't pursue money, pursue passion, pursue something that is fulfilling, pursue something that you love. And that's absolutely something that Ken Honda preaches as well. He has a book called The Zen Millionaire, super famous, very popular. Definitely recommend that if y'all are readers like I am. But he talks about maybe how to find it. A lot of people like to say that they don't know what their dreams are. They don't know what their passions are. They don't know what their talents are. They don't know what their gifts are. They don't know what they care about. And the thing is, you do. It just might not be obvious, or it may be so obvious that you don't see it right away. And he likes to say, Ken Honda, whenever people ask him, you know, how do I find my purpose? How do I find what I'm here for? He likes to say, you know, look back on your life and maybe ask the people who know you, what are your defining characteristics? You know, the people who know you best, what would they say are your gifts? What would they say that you care about? Also, a funny one, but an unlikely one, what were you always getting into trouble for when you were growing up? A good example for me, if y'all know anything about me, I'm a little bit of a rebel at heart. And, you know, I don't like old systems. I don't like things like that. And perfect example, while I was growing up, I was a bit of a rule breaker. And it's not that I just broke rules to break rules. I just broke the rules that I felt like were stupid, you know, and that's always been me. And that's kind of why I'm doing Dream Awake. I'm trying to break the big rule that people seem to think is real, which is not, that we're not meant to chase our dreams. You know, we've all been conditioned to think that we should follow the 40-40 plan, or, you know, go to school, get good grades, go to college, get good grades, get a good job with a salary, work up from there, work for the man, work for someone else. And I don't really think that that's what we should be doing, you know, and people can agree or disagree with me all the time, and that's totally fine. But I would venture to say that most people have something that they care about. Most people have something that they want to build that they don't necessarily think is possible because the world has told them that it's unlikely, or that only some people do that, and it's not for them. And I argue that it's for all of us. There's a really, really, really great book from a man named Simon Sinek, and it's called Start With Why, and he talks about that in this. And just looking at what I wrote, sorry guys, he basically talks about the same thing. You know, he says that in order to achieve any kind of goal, you shouldn't be focusing so much on the steps on how to get there. You should focus on how it makes you feel. If you're passionate about it, if you're excited about it, if you believe in it, your why has to be so strong that it makes you cry, he says. And that might sound crazy, but like thinking about what I'm doing here with Dream Awake, like if I think about it long enough, it will make me cry. If I see my work bringing back inspiration, or bringing inspiration to other people, and they tell me that they were inspired with what I'm doing, that literally makes me cry. So if you ever get anything from what I'm doing, please, you know, let me know, but be aware that you're probably gonna make me cry in a good way, you know. But he, again, just like Winston Churchill, just like all these other people, Earl Nightingale in that audio talks about success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It's not a finish line. It's not an end goal. It's not one day I'm gonna get there. It's I'm doing it now. I'm doing something that's worthy of my time. And that's different for everyone. You know, everybody has different passions and talents and things that they care about. And so something that someone considers worthy might be different from someone else, but that's why we're all here, you know? So Simon Sinek talks about the same thing. He says that you will never achieve anything of greatness if you don't really believe in it. You know, a lot of people get so wrapped up in money and status and you know, what other people think about what they're doing. And in the kindest way possible, like, fuck them. Like, why does that matter? They're not living your life, you know? You're the only one that's gonna be with you every second, every day until you die. You should make yourself happy. It doesn't matter if it makes other people happy. You know, with what I'm doing now, not everybody gets it. You know, I've had some haters. I've had some people who are like, that's dumb. Or I've seen it done before, but they mess it up. And I'm like, well, nobody's ever done Dream Awake because I'm the one that did Dream Awake, you know? And you just got to believe in it. And I wouldn't keep believing in it if I had all these naysayers, if it was anything else, you know? So I just want other people to find something that they believe in that strongly, that it doesn't matter if other people don't get it because they get it, you know? And that's where we get into, you know, the tenacity, the stamina that it takes in order to achieve anything, because it's always going to be hard. The only difference with doing something where you're chasing your dreams is that it's meaningful. It doesn't matter if it's hard. It'll get you through the hard times. Some of y'all know, like I said, in some of my videos, my Candid Coco videos, where I talk about how everything's going, the biggest thing with Dream Awake is I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I don't want to pretend like it's easy. You know, I want to tell y'all if it's hard so that you know what it takes to achieve your dreams. It's not easy at all. It's not easy. My God, it's very trying. It's very taxing. It's going to take you out of your comfort zone. It's going to be new things that you've never done before that you don't know if you can manage, right? But the cool thing about that is you finally feel like you're living, at least if you're like me. I finally feel like I'm putting all my efforts towards something that's going to mean something, that's going to yield something more than just money. You know, I haven't made a ton of money doing this. I've barely made any money doing this, especially compared to the money that I've made in the past in, you know, service industry, bartending career. You know, made way more money doing that. And, you know, this is going to take time to build, but this means more. I'm happier doing this. I'm more fulfilled doing this. I feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose doing this, and everybody's is different, but you can find it and you know that it's there. And you can find it in many different ways. I mean, I don't know if you believe in astrology or numerology or any of these things, but even if you don't, you can always look into, you know, there's plenty of personality tests online. There's plenty, and they're free, plenty of like career option tests that'll tell you what to do, you know, that you're good at, different qualities about yourself that you can apply towards certain careers. And I think you might be surprised to see what your gifts are. You know, I challenge you to go out and do that and see what it says. You know, like I've been taking them recently just because I knew I was writing the Inner Compass article, taking this video, or, you know, recording this video. And so I wanted to see what these little career generators said. And they say that I have a gift for storytelling, that I understand people, and that all has to do with everything that I'm doing, you know, that I understand emotion, and that's another one. And I feel like that's why I'm here. You know, I can see that we all have these subtle nuances that we have in common. You know, we all have these wants and desires. They just apply towards different things depending on the person. And that's what, you know, emotion and science has to do with. Like, there's a reason that all of this is there. So with careers, the thing about that is people also get caught up in, you know, I want to do this, but I've never seen anybody do it before, you know. Well, the cool thing about this year, 2021, is if a career that you want isn't out there, doesn't exist, then you can create it. With the internet, if it does exist, you can find somebody who did it, and I guarantee you there's ways that you can find out how they did it, and that's the way that you get there, you know. I've said before, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. If somebody else has done something that you want to do, then follow them. I mean, they're going to show you exactly how they got there. And it's mathematically impossible for you to keep doing what they say they did and not get where they got, you know. So I'm following people who are doing the things that I want to do with this, and, you know, I'm just doing the things that they said they did. And that's going to take me there, you know. It might take time. And that's a big one in our microwave society. People get so caught up in time and the finish line, and I'll be happy then, right? I'll be happy in the future. One day I'm gonna have that. One day I'm gonna do that. One day I'm gonna be happy. One day I'm gonna be fulfilled. One day I'm gonna go after my dreams. But the thing is it's not a finish line. It's a journey. It's a process. And that might sound cliche. You might have seen that everywhere, but cliches are cliche for a reason. It's true. It's about the journey. You don't know if you're going to be alive tomorrow. So why would you not spend your time today doing something that you care about? Even if I never make enough money, even if I never even replace my bartender salary doing this, at least I know that I worked towards something that was meaningful, and that's what I care about. So practice over time. You can master it. I know I said that already, so I'm looking at my notes so I don't forget anything. I'm trying to get better at these videos, guys. I think I am, but I'm not really sure. So yeah, create your dream job. Your inner compass is always right. Don't question Mother Nature. Why would you do that? I'm sorry, but you're just a fallible human. You're not smarter than Earth, okay? You're not smarter than the human race in general. There's a reason why we feel the things we feel. We all know where we're supposed to go, for sure. So number 3 is fearlessness, and not necessarily fearlessness in the way that you might think. A lot of us, like I've already said, are gonna have naysayers. We're gonna have haters. We're gonna have people who do not believe in what we're doing. And that's fine. There's a place for them too. You know, I like to think of human consciousness as like a color wheel. I don't know if y'all have ever seen like a color wheel. It has like all the colors of the rainbow, right? And let's just say I'm over here and I'm blue, obviously. And I'm blue, and all my little friends who are blue also, let's say they have a little blue soul, they're all like close to me in the color range, right? And there are people who are out there, I guarantee you, who think that what I'm doing is stupid and cliche and is not gonna work and cheesy and all these different things. They're over here on orange, okay? And there's a place for them too. And I understand that people are always gonna disagree, and that's something that y'all need to understand too. In our society, like I've said already, we've all been conditioned to follow this path that doesn't necessarily work for everybody. You know, it definitely works for some people, and I would say those are those orange people, you know? That's what they want to do. They like that structure. They like that path. They like, you know, the steps laid out for them. They like somebody else telling them what to do, you know? They like the salary and the 9 to 5 and all that, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. We need those people too. But I hear so often that so many people are like, oh, I wish I could do that, or I wish I could do this thing that I dream of that I could never do because that's not normal. That's not logical. That's not common. You know, let's say like I'm an artist. Let's say you're an artist or a musician or something like that, and you don't think you can. You don't think you can be successful doing that. Well, you can agree with me that there are people out there who are musicians, who are artists, and that's what they do for a living. Yeah, it's not common, and yes, it's hard. And the only reason it's hard and uncommon is because so many people don't believe they can, and they never try. And it's really sad. You know, as far as statistics go, let's just say, I don't know, 1 out of 1,000 is successful, right? 1 out of 1,000 musicians become successful and autonomous, and their full income is from making music or performing or whatever it is that you want to do. Why do people get so caught up in the 999 who don't when you could be the one who does? What makes you any less than that one person who did? Why can't you be that 1 out of 1,000? You know, the difference between people who achieve their dreams and the people who don't is training. And it's not the training that you might think. There are a couple stories that have always stuck with me that I heard many years ago, but one of them is how to train fleas. And I don't know if you've ever heard this, but you can actually train fleas to stay inside of a jar. So if you're well aware of fleas, I'm well aware of fleas. I've had so many dogs, so I know about fleas. But fleas can jump up to 200 times their own size, right? In distance, right? So you can put fleas inside of like a mason jar and close the jar. And after about an hour of them jumping inside the jar and hitting the lid, then they only jump as high as the lid goes because they don't want to hit the lid anymore. After that hour's up, you can take the lid off and they'll still only jump as high as the lid. And we've all been trained to only jump as high as a lid that's no longer there. We were all raised in this broken school system that teaches you to be just as strong as the lowest rung on the ladder or as the weakest link, right? Or as the slowest vehicle in the convoy, right? Everything slows down to meet the lowest level. The thing is we have way more potential than that. We can jump completely outside of that jar, feet beyond that jar, but we've been trained to stay inside the jar, right? And this makes me think of the other story of how to train elephants. So this is so sad. I'm so obsessed with elephants, so this breaks my heart. But back when circuses were a thing and acceptable, then the elephant handlers would train the baby elephants from birth. The term is break them. Ugh, it just breaks my heart. Pun intended, breaks my heart. But yeah, so the elephant will be born, or is born, and right when the elephant is born, they put a huge, like the heaviest chain that they can find, wrap it around their ankle. Gosh, I'm stuttering so bad right now, sorry guys. They wrap it around their ankle, and they attach this chain to the biggest stake they can find and dig a huge hole in the ground and put the stake in. And this poor elephant, this baby elephant, is not strong enough to fight it. And they keep that elephant chained up to the stake in the ground as long as it takes to break the elephant. What happens is the instincts of the elephant are to fight. You know, the elephant is supposed to be free. It's the monarch of the world, right? The elephant, as lore says, right? Well, after they fight and fight and fight over and over and over again against this chain, there's a moment where the baby elephant gives up and they just stop fighting. And after that, they don't continue. And that's the moment where an elephant is considered broken. So fast forward throughout their life, when the elephant is full grown, many, many, many years later, and they're performing in the circus, the handler only needs to have the tiniest little string wrapped around their ankle, and the smallest little tug from this string is all it takes for the elephant, this huge, strong, massive, mighty animal, to obey a tiny little human. Ugh, makes me sick. So, getting back to following our dreams, we were all raised with that chain around our ankle. You know, the school system, society in general tells us that following your dreams and achieving things that are special are not possible. They're not common. That they're only reserved for some people. Thing is, we're all the same. All elephants are the same. You know, they're different, but they're all just as strong. All of us humans are just as strong as the other. And the only difference between the humans who accomplish their dreams and the humans who don't are the ones who realize that there's no more jar on the lid and that there's only a tiny little string wrapped around our ankle. And not only could we break that tiny little string around our ankle, but we're now old enough to break that huge chain that was around our ankle when we were little. So that's all about fearlessness. You know, don't be afraid to go after your dreams. The only thing that's stopping you is your fear. And that's a cliche again, for a reason. You know, the last thing is that commitment is really necessary. Faith and doubt can't live in the same house. And that goes back to the whole elephants and fleas thing. Faith and doubt can't live in the same house. Again, chasing your dreams is not glamorous. It's not pretty. You might see other people on social media or somewhere on the internet, you know, going after their dreams, and you think, oh, they're so glamorous, or oh, it was so easy for them, or oh, you know, that's natural for them. They didn't work for it. I guarantee you, anybody who has anything of value, anyone who has gone after their dreams, something special, something that they're passionate about, something that they care about, they definitely worked for it. And you might not see all of that struggle, you know, but you definitely see them winning. And you don't have to show everybody your struggle. You know, you can show your inner circle or your most trusted confidants, but nobody has to know how hard it is. With me, with what I'm doing, that's, again, one of the biggest things about Dream Awake. I don't want to lie to anybody. I don't want to, tell everybody, oh, I'm making all this money and everything's so easy and it just automatically worked out, and see everybody do it because you're just meant to, and you're not going to experience any kind of resistance or whatever. That's bullshit. It's going to be hard. And I promise you, I've been going through some shit in the last month too. And it has not been easy. It's been really hard. God, really hard. I have a smaller bank account than I probably ever have. And that's been really weird for me, being an almost 30-year-old female who's always been on top of her money. And you know, it's just part of the process. You know, you got to struggle, and money's just one of the things. There's plenty of other stuff. Gosh, I can tell you, I can go on and on. We'll wait for Candid Cocoa for that one. But my point is, I don't want to tell everybody that it's easy when it's not. I want to tell y'all what I go through so that you can be aware of what's going to happen whenever you chase your dreams, and you can also be aware that no matter how hard it gets, there's a reason that you're doing it. Yes, it's been really hard for me, but every single time I go through that feeling, and I guarantee you I go through this feeling where I'm like, should I just quit? You know, should I just stop? Like, not enough people are into it, not enough people see it, you know, whatever it is, I'm not making enough money, like whatever excuse I give myself to, I don't know, have an excuse to cop out, have an excuse to quit. You know, we're a society of quitters. That's so normal. It's more normal to quit things than it is to finish them. Like for everything, for most people. I mean, really think about it. It's pretty common and it's widely accepted. You know, if I were to quit now, I guarantee you everybody I know would be like, oh, well, I get it. It's hard. It's okay. You know, well, I'm telling myself in the camera right now, it's not okay. I'm not going to quit because this is the only thing that I care about. You know, it might evolve. It might grow. I might change it eventually, but I will always be going after something that I care about because of this, because now I know the difference. You know, before I was not pursuing anything that I cared about, and now I have purpose, and now I have passion. Now what I do means something, and that has brought me further than anything else has. Belief is motivation. I talk a lot in Dream Awake about manifestation and the law of attraction and training your mind to accept the things that you want before you get them so that they show up in your life, because your mind creates your reality. Whatever you believe you already have, you will have in the future. Fake it till you make it, right? You can't be thinking about things like, oh, I want that, because then the universe will keep bringing you things that you want. Want. The emotion is the key word. The emotion is the thing that your body remembers. So when you go to chase your dreams, the thing that your body is going to remember is excitement and enthusiasm and passion and meaning. And it's going to keep bringing you things in your life. Ooh, I'm getting emotional. Sorry. It's going to keep bringing you things in your life that you feel excited, enthusiastic, emotional, and meaningful about. These are passionate things that you keep getting to show up in your life. Every time I'm about to quit, I gotta talk myself into it again, you know, get motivated. You gotta stay around your own campfire, right? Keep yourself excited, remind yourself why you're doing it. But then after, at least for me, after I get myself excited again, after I fan the flames and get back into meaningful mode, something beautiful always seems to happen right after. You know, I just got to keep reminding myself while I'm doing it. And it's not that the doubt won't show up, because it will, but every time you put faith back in that house, the doubt disappears and beautiful things happen. We all have our own acres of diamonds, and we're all meant to get them. We're all standing in our own acres of diamonds. It's about finding them and knowing that they're there, and more importantly than anything else, believing that they're there. Again, with manifestation and the law of attraction, you can think of visualization and things of that nature, right, as planting the seed. The thought is planting the seed. If the intention and the affirmation and the emotion and the visualization is the seed, then work and belief are the water. Those things will bring it about, you know. You got to keep them together, and it can't be one or the other. If you work your ass off and you never believe that it's going to happen, you never visualize what you want, you never put in that order to the universe of the things that you want, you're only going to get, you know, a smorgasbord of random shit that you never asked for, because you're not asking for anything. You know, if you only visualize and you only affirm and you only, you know, write things down and put them on your vision board and all this, and you don't work for it, I'm sorry, but you're just going to be dreaming, and you're never going to be awake experiencing those dreams. So the last thing I'll leave you with is fight for the fairy tale. It does exist. I guarantee you it does exist. And that's why I'm doing this. I haven't gotten my whole fairy tale manifested yet, but again, with that success definition, success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. I don't care how many failures I get from here on out. I've definitely gone through some of the worst ones already, and I still am enthused. I am still excited. I am still passionate, and I will take this feeling over any other feeling that I've ever felt. So it's definitely worth it. I'll leave you with that. Last thing I said on the article is it's not arrogant for me to claim my power and to claim my crown. You know, I want everybody to discover the deep well of power within them, because we all have one and we all have a crown too. I can accept mine, and I want y'all to accept yours because it's there and it's waiting for you. So this is the map, and I hope you find it. I hope that this video or this article maybe gave you some neon signs flashing you towards the goal that you're supposed to go. I hope that your north has been activated, and I hope that you're excited about what's to come, because I know I am. So thank you so much for your time. Until next time, I can't wait to see y'all again. Stay dreaming, as always.